I made over $1 million by 28 years old, traveled over 50 countries, and did it by not burning out in the process. And I didn't do it by becoming a crypto millionaire. I did it by following this exact BAM method that I'm going to teach you in this episode. What if you don't actually have to work harder to be more successful? What if it's about just learning how to actually work smarter and be more efficient with the hours that you actually have? I have a quote that goes like this: your success doesn't come down to the hours that you work, but it has everything to do with the work that you do inside of those hours. So I'm going to give you my exact planner in this episode to help you guys plan more effectively and create your level of success that you want as well. And if you stick around to the end of this episode, I'm going to give you the exact link so you can just download a copy of this thing for free. When I started my first business at 21, I had to learn really quickly how to actually become a business owner, because what I learned through school in my first few years working as a full-time carpenter, I learned how to be a good employee. I learned how to do the work that was just required from me and nothing more than that. So when I came into the business world and I realized that there was no one there actually telling me what to do and when to do it or checking in on my work, I had to realize that it was super important for me to actually plan my own work and measure what I was actually doing on a day-to-day basis. So I found myself reading all the books, like you probably have as well. And I started by reading one of the books called The 4 Agreements. And one of the agreements in the book says that you must always do your best. And what started to happen was some days I would do really good. I would get a lot of work done. I'd be really productive. And then other days I'd be absolutely dog shit and do hardly anything. Then what started to happen was I was comparing my best days to my worst days, thinking that on my worst days there was something wrong with me and I'm not sure how I could ever improve it. So it wasn't until I really started to learn about neuroscience and the brain, and I started to look for different ways on how we can actually hack our brains, not only just be more productive, but also boost our self-esteem and all-around quality of life at the same time. So I started to look for different things, and I asked myself the question, what if I could figure out what made me different on the days that I did my absolute best, and what made me bad on the days that I did my absolute least? How could I really course correct this on a day-to-day basis to figure out and reverse engineer my own success and my own habits, and to see what made the difference on the days I did really well and the days I didn't do really well at all? So then I looked into the whole world of productivity and all these sorts of things, and I came across your basic productivity planner. And I've gone through so many planners to only find the exact same thing in every single one of them. And that is that 95% of them are filled with absolute shit and have you overwhelmed and overthinking about everything before you even begin. I remember I picked up one from a productivity guru in the world, and it had like 90 questions I had to ask on a day-to-day freaking basis to journal. And I look at it straight away and think like, that's a whole hour of my day already gone to answer these damn questions. I'm least productive doing this than I would have been without it. So I decided to just create my own. So this is the exact plan, and this is how it goes. I call it the daily BAM. Now you're probably thinking, what the hell does BAM stand for? Hang with me, I'm gonna explain to you in a moment. But in order for you to understand it effectively, I've got to explain the big picture of it. So this is how it looks like. I have a full plan for my week, and I like to look at the entire plan first. There's a saying by Jim Rohn where he said, I plan my work and then I work my plan. You should never start a day before it's finished, never start a week before it's finished, never start a month before it's finished, never start a year before it's finished. What he means by that is you should forward think and actually plan your weeks, your months, your days, your years ahead of time, and then work your plan. So I sit down and I look at Monday through Sunday, and I'm gonna first look at what's one thing that I'm really looking forward to this week. Because let's face it, sometimes, especially in the early days of growing your business, there's gonna be things that you don't really want to do. So I need to start to hack my brain and allow myself to actually remember that, hey, there is something incredible I'm looking forward to this week. And even the days where I would be lazy and boring, it would force me to actually go, well, shit, what am I gonna do this week that's gonna be fun? What can I do this week for a play? What can I do this week to look forward to? Is it hanging out with my friends, golfing on the weekend, going out on the jet ski? What is it that I'm actually looking forward to? And I put that in first thing. The next thing, every single day is actually made up of a combination of a couple of reflective questions, the daily BAM, and a to-do list. Then at the end of the week, I have a few reflective questions that help me identify when was I at my absolute best this week, when was I at my absolute worst this week, and a few other questions to really help me identify how I can continually optimize my performance every single week. This allows me to really reverse engineer and figure out why I perform my best on my best days and why I only amount to this on my worst days. Once you start to do this week after week after week, you're gonna start to really refine your habits, and you're gonna start to see when you're at your worst, you're continually doing a certain behavior. Maybe it's scrolling social media, maybe it's thinking negatively, I'm not sure what it might be for you, but when you start to see this over and over and over, it's gonna allow yourself to actually put in habits and behaviors to eliminate those things from happening again. but you cannot intervene with a world that you can't see. So these questions are absolutely freaking killer to go through at the end of the week to make sure you can continually get better. And once again, they're completely in the planner below. You can actually get it in the description below. It's 100% free. So now let's talk about the daily BAM. First thing I do, I start off and ask myself one simple question. What are you grateful for today? The reason for this is because even on your worst days, it's going to prime you to actually think of something you can appreciate, something to focus on that's good. Because we may have gone through a really heavy week and had all these crazy things happen to us, but if we can actually bring ourselves back to a sense of gratitude and peace and love at the start of every single day, it's going to really eradicate all those negative feelings and stress that we may be having from the days before and put us in a much better vibration straight away. Next thing I'm going to ask myself is, what are you proud of from the day before? This is a great question to ask because it allows myself to reflect on the day prior. It's going to allow myself to actually give myself a little bit of credit and feel good about myself of what I did the day before. What this does is actually boost some dopamine inside of your body, releasing the feeling of confidence inside of you. Because if you can reflect on something you did well yesterday, it's going to make you feel a lot better about yourself and instantly put you in a more productive state. The next thing I go down is I just literally write a to-do list. I heard Simon Sinek talking about this one time, and he said what happens is when we make a to-do list, and every single time we cross off something on our to-do list, it actually releases more dopamine. It makes us feel more confident, and it boosts even more self-esteem within us. So I love working off a list. I'll just write down all the things that I gotta get done today, so that every single time I get something done, I'm just crossing it off because it makes me feel good that I'm being productive and getting things done. And the final thing for each day is my BAM. Now the BAM stands for bare ass minimum. Now here's the thing. Some days you're gonna perform incredibly well. And some days you are just not going to be feeling it. You may be completely lacking motivation. You may not have clarity. You might have had a setback, whatever it might be. You may not be performing at your best. That's where these BAM tasks are most important to be put into place. Because what this is actually looking through your entire to-do list and asking yourself this question. If I was to only get 3 things done today, what would be the most productive, most needle moving 3 tasks that if I only did that, today was still an extremely successful day? So then I go through my entire to-do list and I write down what are the 3 most important things. My 3 bare ass minimum. So the days I'm just not really feeling it, I do that, I look at the BAM, and then I just go, great, let's attack this straight away. And I get that done straight away. Now here's the cool thing. If you get that done before 10 o'clock, take the rest of the day off. Go and have fun. Go and unwind. Go for a walk, a hike, do whatever you might need to do to sort of recalibrate and come back to yourself. Because essentially, you would have done more in that tiny little block than most people ever would actually do in an entire day, because you've put your things out of your head onto paper and you've become efficient on doing what's actually most important. There's a thing called the Pareto principle. And what it says is 20% of the things that we actually do on a day-to-day basis make up for 80% of our results. So the BAM is really allowing you to focus on what is your 20% each and every day. Because if the only thing you did every day was focus on the 20% of things that moved 80% of the progress forward, then you'll be far more productive, far more successful than the average person. And you'll have a lot more free time as well. Because the truth is, most people just fill their days up with useless shit because they're trying to feel productive and do things just to tick things off the list, but they're not actually important things to do. So if you can allow yourself to make your to-do list of all the things that are important for you, then just write down your 3 BAM every single day and focus on executing that. Not only are you gonna have a really productive, successful life, but you'll have a lot of freedom and a lot of fun as well. So there you have it. If you wanna get my exact copy of all this so you don't have to draw it out yourself, hit the description in the link below. Like I said, this planner took me years to really refine and figure out and remove useless things from it. This is what I literally use every single day. It's on my desk right here in front of me. There's not a day goes past where I don't use it, I don't write on it. And I tell you what, the days that I actually forget to write on it are my days that I'm most unproductive. So this thing is a complete game changer. Go and get your free copy today. It's in the link below. And if you got value from this, make sure you subscribe and go ahead and share this episode with someone else who you also know wants to be more successful and more productive so we can make an impact on their life as well. That's it for today, Dream Nation. Now, until the next episode, go out there and dream out loud.